Back on YouTube. I am just testing to see whether there even is a YouTube connection anymore. There seems to be. And oh no, you're seeing me with just my hair all wild and crazy because I took off the hat while I was trying to troubleshoot the connection. So yeah, this is just going to be a little junk stream with me cleaning up from the debacle earlier. Cleaning up in the sense that I'm just testing to see what might have happened, what might be going on. Um, but yeah, it does not appear that it was an issue with the content of the stream, at least not immediately. Um, Although the lighting is terrible. It doesn't look quite this bad on my screen, but it looks horrible when I'm looking at the what got recorded. Thank you. Yeah, I have no idea what was going on. I got these messages that it was having problems with the feed, but maybe it was YouTube having issues because nothing else seemed to be having trouble. Although the last couple of minutes um, were just garbled and just at least from what got recorded. So you may not have heard me respond to your Jabba the Hutt thing and telling you that yeah, Jabba the Hutt, that's exactly why it went in that particular drawing, because it was reminiscent of Jabba the Hutt. And we're both Star Wars fans. Um, but so yeah, things seem to be working. That's really what I came back on just to double check. But I don't see a reason for why it would be. Actually, is the sound coming through okay? Since you're here, Dan, you can tell me. I didn't do the little on again, off again thing. Come on, will this do what I need it to do? Yes, there we go. Okay, sound is good. All right. All right. Oh, now what? The one frustrating thing to having joined the 21st century, in the sense that I got one of these things now, is that I'm now dealing with scammers again, which I hadn't really had a lot of problem with on my email account for the last few years. But now I'm getting notifications that, oh my God, my PayPal account has been locked out because they've detected suspicious activity. Click on this link immediately or it'll be canceled. Nonsense like that. Um, let's see. I'm just trying to make sure that, given that stream crashed, that everything that needs to be checked is checked. Like, want to make sure that comments get replayed, things like that. And then maybe I'll look at more pretty pictures just because that's what I was going to do for at least another half hour. Let's see. Oh, come on. Oh, whoops, that's the current one. I don't want to mess with that. I want to mess with... Oh, there goes a cat. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Or maybe I need to restart the computer when I'm done mucking about. just because maybe it's trying to install updates or some such nonsense. Um, all right, well, it looks like everything is set. Once it's done rendering, whatever else YouTube does to it, then the side chat will be there too. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, not perfect, just not a disaster, I suppose. Um, but um, just for fun, I am thinking about it's another J. Carlos illustration, and thinking about making this the new header on my YouTube channel. um, I think it actually, I think it did make it into Mythic. Now that I'm thinking about it, but still, it has the right dimensions to be a header on the channel with a little bit of wording on it there. And there's a cover of Mythic, just like I mentioned, that would because I liked it, so he stuck it on the cover with the logos and the title and everything else. But yes, actually, I should probably turn it into, at the very least, make it a thumbnail for a video or something. But yeah, yeah, that was yeah. Jabba the Hutt doesn't look any better in black and white because no elements really pop that well. But let me. Shall we just look at a few more J. Carlos illos? I think J stands for Juan, if memory serves. Or there's something more interesting that I think there's 3 people watching now. So if anyone has a topic or just want to look at more pretty pictures, um, one of the sets that we are working that we're processing images for, cleaning up images for right now, the working title is Ladies. Ladies. If it wasn't clear from the other J. Carlos illos, a lot of his drawings are of, well, ladies. And we avoid the problem that we avoid the problem that we get with John Austin, because yeah, he doesn't have the dreaded ends in his drawings, except for that one I was looking at. So yeah, here's so far what we've got processed, and we're thinking about including in. Actually, wait. If I do this, what happens? Oh, too big. Um, so yes, working title for this particular set is Ladies. Again, I never did finish talking about the Praro book. It it has not sold at all, which was okay. We did it just because it was a concept and we liked the concept, and um, yes, exactly, a Texas lady. But yes, this working title for this set is Ladies. But Mythic actually did quite well for which makes sense. It's fantasy art, and people look for fantasy art to put in their products and in their home games and such. But people don't really look really for pantomime inspired artwork. It's not something that a lot of people are looking for. But in the middle of the book, there is some very cool John Carlos illos. So maybe we'll look at those just because. Um, so yes, Texas Lady. That's one that's going in there. Uh, this is not Carlos. We might end up putting various artists in here. I forget this lady's first name, but Holmgren is her last name. And again, these are all dating from the teens and 20s. And this actually, I find this picture interesting in the sense that I don't know why, but this seems to have been a theme. Um, I've come across multiple paintings or drawings, and I really should have gathered them while I was doing it. But it didn't occur to me later on that it was a theme of naked ladies carrying the paper lanterns, running along carrying paper lanterns. I don't know why. I should probably do some research. But it's not this Carlos Illo I've been aware of for a couple of years, maybe even a little longer. But I found others with a similar motif, just by pure chance. At least three other artists having done this exact kind of illustration. So there must have been something in the teens or 20s that involved young ladies streaking while carrying um, paper lanterns. I don't know. Maybe it's a well, no, I said maybe it's a Brazilian thing, but I actually think a couple of the drawings were French, so I have no idea. If someone is smart, is bright enough, they can or have Google Foo, maybe they can identify it. But again, nice illo, and not one that's going to be problematic. And this one, we're not quite done processing. This is super bright, and this is subdued. So we're still working on cleaning this up. This is probably where the price was at some point. We turned into a moon, or I don't know. This is something. This particular illustration, I think Handal is working on. But yeah, clearly not ready for prime time, as they say. All right, I'm trying to get over here so I can. There we go. They're letting their beauty shine and run free. That actually is true. That was a very big theme in the teens and 20s. And it could be that actually that makes a lot of sense. I I love it when smarter people than I am come along and actually give me insights. This is great. Because yeah, that actually makes sense. And I think I will have to go look around for more of those illustrations that I ignored. Oh yes, oh yes. Oriental things were hugely in fashion at the time, and again, we started these public domain art projects, mining both public domain and our own stock of about 1 million scans and stuff. Um, 100,000. I shouldn't exaggerate. It's 100,000. It's not or 120,000. 120,000 illos that we have on discs that were scanned in the late 90s, early 2000s, and were then given to me as payment for a project that I didn't get paid for, and the company went out of business. And so the owner said, "Here, have these." Okay. um, oh, XZL. Sorry, I did. I hope I acknowledge you. If not, I'm glad you're here. That you came back after that horrible crashing experience. I don't know what you guys saw or didn't see, but yeah, this one I don't quite know what we're gonna do with the coloration here. Keep it. This is where we're probably running into an issue when putting color on or changing colors in some of these drawings, two people work on games projects. There's me and there's Links Hundal, LL Hundal, and we're both colorblind. Not completely colorblind, just certain shades and colors we don't see right, or we just don't see. For example, I had my favorite blue shirt that I wore for a couple of years until someone told me it was a very nice shade of purple. I thought it was dark blue. But that's kind of why when you see me in real life or even on YouTube, well, I tend to wear the same kind of shirt when I come on YouTube, but you'll see me wearing grays and blues and blacks just because I know those are the colors I see. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing green, and I'm seeing a spot of red here, and it's totally white over here, and these are red too. I'm assuming. But so when I say this is green, it could be yellow for all I know. We actually, just since I'm just babbling now, one of the first color comic anthologies. Well, we were one of the yeah we were color correcting some comics from the 40s, and thankfully someone else looked at the pages before they went anywhere, because what we thought was a nice skin tone for the panels was kind of greenish. Um, so I think we ultimately ended up putting that one out in black and white, and then our first color project ended up being the one that we knew was the correct colors because we had some originals that we were working off. But yeah, mostly right. But the second red is orange. Okay, well, and yes, shades of orange. I will tell you they're red or yellow. Kept me out of the Air Force actually. Back in those days, when I don't know if radars are still that way, but the radars that were using back in those days, from what they tell me, apparently the yellows and green and other thing made it so that they wouldn't let me in the Air Force, which I think related to the radars. And here we have again. I think we're still working on the colors on this one, or maybe we're going to leave the white spots behind. I'm not sure, but this hat needs a little work, I think, before it's ready to be put anywhere. But again, I like this illo a lot. This one I'm not a big fan of, even with the color that I'm not happy with. I'm just not. I It may end up being set aside. I don't know. This one though, I've always really liked. It's just a cute drawing. Um, and again, it's very 20s, very dated, with the hat and the skirt and everything. But it's cute, and it'll go into a set, the ladies set most likely. And here we were trying to uh, sort of, okay, now I see why this is still rough, because this is the one we were trying to do some experimentation with. Because it's kind of a big thing to be ethnically diverse in your products these days, and so all of Carlos's characters, whether they're white as sheets. Uh, so we kind of experimented with this, and I I think this had the same issue we were having. I think this is green. It was supposed to be kind of a dark skin tone, but I think it might be green. Um, so yeah, this cleaned up nicely, but this is horrible. Uh, Someone else has a different opinion, I'm welcome to entertain it. But when I look at it with my screwed up eyes, it just looks horrible. This looks nice. The hat needs a little bit of work, clean up some of the other spots, but I like this far better than this recolored version. So that's probably going to end up not going anywhere, unless, as I said, it looks different to people with eyes that aren't all messed up. People that aren't genetically flawed. And here we just have another illustration. I think this one has not been worked on, I don't think. Or it still needs some more work because this signature is almost illegible. It's so pale. And here's another. It's a Spanish lady as opposed to the Texas lady from earlier. Okay, so let's back up. So it turned gray rather than a brownish color. Okay. So that's good to know. We need to work a little bit more on that. Or just not even mess with it. Because looking at it, I really do think I like this better. And that is what the artist created after all. The other thing was just us messing around. Although I like the darker squirrel too. So somewhere in between these two, I think we have I think we'll have a very nice illustration. And then that one, again, nice drawing. Carlos was just a very talented artist. Oh, new messages. What do I have? 4 viewers. Wow. 4 people see me without the hat on. But yeah, they're very quiet, those other people that came in, or I missed their comments. Yeah, this one I think I think we still have to do a little more work on this. Let's see we need to even these out, or maybe not. I don't know. But this is another one that I like. Probably, will be like the Harlequin book. No one will have a use for it. This one is done. This one we're done monkeying with. And again, it's very 20s, because that's when this was drawn. Probably from, I think this one was 1924, if memory serves. Issue of Para Todos, Brazilian entertainment magazine. Started out being focused around film and branched a little bit more out into sort of jazz age culture things, I believe. Still with a very heavily leaning in the direction of film. The number of the covers actually are caricatures of Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin, which we would be using, but the way they're designed, they're very hard to clean up. So it's going to take a long time to get those. I do need a haircut. I was, looking at Chili on your stream today and wondering if I should take inspiration from that. I ultimately decided against it. But, yeah. Don't piss off your barber. That would be the lesson that was learned from that, I think. Because I mean, all right, I'm going to be terribly rude toward the poor guy, but he has ridiculous hairstyles and haircuts as it is. I know I'm not one to talk, but this latest haircut of his, he should be wearing a beanie. Pull it down over the side of his ears because, or a toque, because that is a horrible haircut. He paid $45 for that. He got ripped off. Yeah. Somebody mentioned that in your stream. Uh, $45 for haircut. I mean, I pay $20 and I feel like my pocket is hurting. Well, I guess 25 when you include taxes and tip, but yeah, it's I don't know where even I tossed the hat. Oh, there's the hat. There, should I hide the horribleness at the top of my head or not? Eh, let's not. But yeah, this is not a $45 haircut. This is a 20 some dollar haircut, and it's a month old at this point. But yeah, another one. This one is done, and this one is definitely going into ladies or whatever we end up calling that package. Another favorite of mine, um, of this particular set, and just Carlos in general. Yeah, yeah. Um, I need to figure that out. I need to get my 1,000 viewers so I can get monetized, so I can do fundraisers. Give me money for a haircut. Although, I just had a thought. So yeah, this is another favorite. Like I said, the drawing that's up there right now, uh, another favorite uh, Carlos illustration of mine. And but again, very 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 20s. Although I don't know, this one is kind of timeless. It's sort of. I mean, it's got a. I mean, she's clearly doing sort of a Charleston kind of thing, but it also to me feels sort of Warner Brother esque in its in just the way it looks. But maybe that's because I spend so much. I maybe one reason I was blind to the stuff you pointed out, Dan, is that I spend a lot of time watching pre-code stuff, old cartoons. Although I guess that shouldn't justify why I didn't see that. Let's see. And yeah, I should be able to talk and type, but apparently not. So, so is this how it's done? I think that's how it's done. Yeah. Let's see. Let me go back to the chat window. So yeah, this is another favorite. And this one I think we're pretty much done messing with. I think, though, originally this character um, was wearing shoes. And I think it's a reflection of a pet peeve of Hundal's. Because there were some rather long heels on it, and she grumps a lot when characters are dancing in really high heels and when they're cartoon characters. Because she was a dancer at one point, and it bothers her to see. But yeah, yeah, I just had to put that up there because I agree. Not that I'm saying he's a dickhead, that would be rude. Um, oh, I guess since I have someone that sees colors, is this another attempt to kind of darken a character in one of the drawings? Is this also that? Is this gray or is it kind of a tan color? Because that's what I think we were probably going for. And I'm looking at it, and again, it looks like it might have a greenish tint. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. So please lend me your eyes. But as far as retouching on this illo goes, I do like what she did with that. She got the lips looking nice here. They were probably red on the original, and the eyes again. She pulled out the eyes, and so they weren't darkened. Yeah, it's gray. Okay. So if we're going to try to do this sort of thing, we need to get better at it, or get someone working on it that sees colors properly. And here, this just the same drawings in black and white, because that's actually what the sets do. They have most of the yellows are both in there in color and in black and white. And this one were actually worked quite nice. Well, grayscale, not black and white. And actually, you know what? That's probably how I think I know why that's turning gray, because that's probably how she's getting a darker skin tone. She's going to the black to the grayscale yellow and just darkening the just darkening it probably. All right, if that's what she's doing, she needs to stop it because it's not working clearly. But yeah, that one turned out nice in black and white. Okay, I don't hate that yellow. I mean, I really don't like the color one, but this one actually looks very nice, and I think in grayscale. Actually, so okay, maybe it's going in. Unless someone tells me they think it sucks, then I won't. But that one I like. I like that one in black and white. Both of these look really nice in grayscale. Actually, this one looked nice in the with the reddish tones too. But yeah, it looks less busy to me in when it's grayscale like this, and it just, it just looks better all around. So this may be one that we're just gonna include in black and white. And here's the girl with the squirrel in grayscale. I think this one needs a little more work, but it's again, it's a cute drawing. I like it. I mean, this part has clearly been we're finished with, but the background, you can tell that we've been covering up or getting rid of text. Needs a little bit needs a little bit of work, but again, very nice as a grayscale drawing. Do you mean this one that I'm looking at right now, or the? That's not French. That's like, so it must be this one you're talking about. Someday I will figure out how long the lag is between something shows up on screen, it gets typed into the computer, inside chat, and then shows up. Um, oh, okay. So that, yeah. All right. Well, is it? Yeah, it could be French. I don't know, but I get it. I see it. Yeah, it much better in black and white. Yeah, it looks far superior in grayscale. Um, and just in case any one of the two people that are out there watching want to say things, but yeah, and here's the. So this, yeah, I guess it's just kind of a general 1920s young woman wearing a hat and a tank top. But here you have Spanish lady. That also looks very nice as a grayscale. But yes, the one I hate in color is oh, what just happened there? Crap. I don't know. don't know if anyone else saw that to me, but I did something weird. Oh, somebody wants to come join me. So we will rearrange the screen. Let's see.
Hello.
Hello. Let's see if we can get the important stuff. Oh, nope. Oh. Oh. And we're looking in different directions because of the way my computer is organized, or my screen's organized. But yeah, so this one.
I thought it'd be easier without the lag.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I can't. You'd think after about a month now, I'd be able to figure out how big it, how long the lag is, but no, I can't.
It varies.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably it too. Yeah.
But you see, to me, that kind of looks like a Moulin Rouge dancer.
Oh yeah. Oh, I definitely see that. Yeah, and it's that or carnival, but I think
doing
it's
the can type
yeah,
dancing and
yeah, and a lot of the covers for the magazine actually had that theme to them as well. So you're far closer on it than I think I was in my interpretation. But yeah, I don't know. I just like this squirrel picture.
it is. It's a really good picture, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy apparently he drew about 100,000 illustrations during his career.
Really?
Yeah. And
Mind you, they probably only paid him peanuts for them.
yeah, yeah. Well, he was he was the art director on this magazine. He took it over in 22, I think, and then by 24 or 25, he was doing all the art for it. So he was being paid as art director and then probably paying himself to do the art. Or that's actually what I find interesting about some of these figures that you would think the bios would be a little cleaner than they are. Depending on where you read about this Carlos guy, some say that he started the magazine and he owned it. Others say he took it over and was just the art director. And so it's the internet. People just make stuff up, I think, sometimes. But I'll
Often.
admit, I'm sorry. Oh, often? Yeah. I haven't dug too deep into his background because um, we were doing, again, when we were doing these projects and other projects for Neo Games when we first started out several years ago, we were including all kinds of, we did research on the creators and we included bios and all sorts of little trivia. And then I was chatting with a couple customers who pretty much said they didn't really care about all that stuff. And I was, okay, well, we won't waste our time then. But and it also we ran into a couple of roadblocks on people that very little was known about, unless you're going to spend budget on actually traveling to places and looking at archives. And we number our sales in the dozens, so there's not that kind of budget. And the Spanish lady, yeah.
It'd be nice if there was, though. Nice holiday in Brazil doing research. Sounds all right.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Actually, one thing I did find in I think the early 2010s, there were some exhibits about regarding this guy's artwork. Unfortunately, all the websites are dead now. I mean, you Google them, you'll get the link, and then you click on it though, and all you get is expired pages. Maybe if I go digging through, what is that?
Wayback Machine.
Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine might have it. So someday when I have absolutely nothing else going on, I should probably go digging. But yeah, Spanish Lady also was good in black and white, I think.
Yeah.
And there we tried it with just nuking the background entirely. Again, these are clip art sets basically. So
I think it's better with the dark background, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely is. And I think the only reason we processed it this way was so you can wrap text around it. I think that was the logic.
Yeah.
This I did not. This was all Handal. No, this one I messed with, and I should have done a little more work here on the edges here. But yeah, I like the color version better on this one.
Yeah, the colour version's brilliant, but if you hadn't seen the colour version, this would be a very good one on
Hmm.
its own merit.
Oh yes, oh yeah, yeah. Uh, Need to clean up these lines a bit, but other than that, again, this guy was just a good graphic artist. There's just no two ways about it. And there's the cartoon dancing girl.
That almost reminds me of Betty Boop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same period. That could be what they were going for. Actually, Betty Boop, a couple of actresses, and it's probably actually one of those actresses. Given this was a film magazine. Oh my God. Oh boy.
I can't
Uh,
think of actresses back then.
she was in the Canary Murders. Um, uh, wow. Actually, I was even talking with somebody at work about a couple of this lady's films earlier. It'll come to me when I look at something else or when I'm trying to go to sleep late tonight. Um, but yeah, a couple of actresses that had this sort of shortcut hairstyle and they kind of styled it along the side of their face like that with uh, whatever hairspray. Yeah, and here we go with the. Okay, yeah, see, that's how
Now
she'll
you
get.
see that works better in black and white than it did in colour.
Yep, yep, because the elements are popping more and it looks a little less busy. So, and this
Her, her
this
skin
character,
tone doesn't look as off either
right?
as it did in black and white.
Because and that's what I'm saying. I now I see what she was trying to do. She was taking the gray, putting it on the color illo, and then darkening it up, and it probably looked okay. Um, but yes, the skin was actually. I remember this original drawing. This was basically um, white. I mean, snow white, the skin, and
Yeah.
so. Um, but yeah, I like this version here. And there we were back with another version of that. And New Year's Eve drawing or the probably January issue. Um, we're also maybe doing a seasonal one. I don't know. We both like this
You
guy's art
should.
a lot. But that is that. What else is there to Carlos art we can look at? Oh, yeah, right here. This is where we were working on looking into holiday things, uh, using his stuff. And this is not him, and I'm blank on the artist's name, but this was somebody else, and yeah, not finished. Yeah, cute drawing that he did. Um, Toys. Oh, here's
Very
another.
much reminder of what was it called? Toy Soldiers, wasn't it?
Yeah, with Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This about a decade before that. Actually, we left a date on this. That's unusual, but we're not done processing it. So 27. So this one just went into public domain. And here we are trying to darken a character's skin again. Is that gray or green? And can you even
Green.
tell? Is it too small?
No, it's a greeny colour,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
pale green.
Yeah. We need to stop trying to mess with skin tones because it
Just
never works.
just tell everyone it's an Orion slave girl.
Yeah. There you go. And there's a black and white try. And that's just a different style for him as far as coloring goes. And Christmas carols, Christmas gifts, and Okay. I'm having that reaction. These little guys here, this is 1925.
Yeah,
And you can,
and Brazil.
yeah. So these little guys, they had big red lips on them originally. I mean, the
Mm,
standard cartoon. And I and I haven't actually looked at this until just now. So I think what she was trying to do was make them a little less offensive to the modern audience. I don't know if she succeeded or not. Um, but he has a lot of these in you can't see me point. He has a lot of these in his drawings. Um, that character style of African Americans or Black people, however you want to call it. And I see here that she's added skin tone to some of these ladies in the box. Looks like this one looks like she actually got it right. Tried to do this
yeah,
one Chinese looking. This one is brown, I hope. It looks
yeah.
like. Okay, so we finally got one right. And then this she just darkened up the pinkish tone on this. So okay, that's interesting. That still I don't know if these little maybe we need to change these guys' little the color or something on them, make them bright blue so they're Smurfs. Um,
Oh, someone would still get upset.
yeah, probably. No, definitely.
There is probably a league for the protection of Smurfs.
Yeah. There's just black and white versions and attempt to different colors. Attempt to make it Christmassy. This one is in progress, obviously, because you still have a lot of white
Yeah,
areas. Um, and this didn't work out quite as nicely up here. And yeah, that one again, not that one was abandoned, obviously, because that does not work all white like that.
no.
And I don't know what that is.
Oh, I
Uh,
think that's Santa in his sleigh going round the moon.
oh no, it is. I'm just why it's showing up like this. It must be the file format. Oh, yeah, the PNG files sometimes do that. They look white on the screen, but you do them in this, and the background turns dark because it's transparent, I think. But yeah. Oh, is this the one? Yeah. Here we go. Oh. So that's the one, the most recent clip art pack we've released. This is not the cover is not Carlos. This is some other artist. Oh, Hank has come. Uh, and I should probably turn off this. I totally forgot about that the joke caption I was running. I completely forgot about it. There we go. And of course, there's also this one that I did just as a joke. When I realized I had this functionality, I decided I would play with it. Well, do we want to have a third person look at the art, talk about the art? Oh my God! Can you hear that?
Yeah, just about.
That's a cat. What she's doing, she's carrying around one of her toys and hollering. She does that at night for some reason. I'm sure
And
there's
now
a
stalking you.
yeah. Oops, now I can't see this. I will get someday. I'll master this. Oh, what is this now? Let me figure this out. Sorry, give me one moment to do this. If he wants to come up, just because, or if he'd rather just. But yes, hi Hank. You are welcome. I'm just looking at pictures and talking a little bit, and Dan is
I'm glad.
graciously telling me when my colors are wrong. Here we go. Finally. But yeah, that's the cover for what is this now? There we go.
I forgot I can do this on this one.
You can do what?
It should. There we go. Do that. No more green screen.
Oh, supposedly I can do that with this software too, but I can't figure out how. I have these ridiculous pictures I can put up behind me, but there's something I'm doing wrong. One day I will learn. So yeah,
If you
here.
go over to settings, where you see where you can mute your mic and camera.
Yep.
If you click on settings,
little gear
and just go to virtual background.
Virtual background. Let's see. Virtual background required. Oh, a device capable to run. See support articles.
Yeah, just click run it anyway.
Click on it. Oh, I even have the same. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, I just used the default one.
Oh, so it's in there. Ah, so let me just see, just to experiment. Ah, look at that. I won't have to clean up my office. Oh. So that's how people are doing that. I've been wondering, I've been watching people with videos. I don't know if you see what I'm seeing. Did my background go all fuzzy?
No. A little bit, yeah.
Now there you go. Bricks behind me or something.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to experiment with this some more, but we'll put that up there.
If you click on the advanced settings, you can adjust how it looks and that a bit.
Oh, you can custom color it and color shift it. Well, it looks like. Okay, nice. I am edumacated. Slightly more edumacated. Okay. But yeah, I've been watching people with their backgrounds blurred out, and I was wondering how they were doing that. Now I know. So Hank's not going to be on much longer. Well, I'm glad you stopped by. Oh, no, there you go.
There we go. That's the normal one.
Yeah, I was going to say that you use that on your
hiding under my troll bridge.
But yeah, so this is the one, like I said, Hundal wanted to tell a picture opera, like you said. Uh-oh, cheating on her. And they're so happy. And we got the black and white versions. And now we have the Carlos illustrations, which, again, this guy was, I think, a fantastic artist. And here he is doing his Colombina thing. And yeah, these are all magazine covers from mid-20s.
They're good.
Yep. And, it's things like this. Another picture where she had the little doll that the notion was, okay, yeah, he's kind of gone out of his head. And there we go. There's the murder of Harlequin. There's an even gun. Oh, yeah. Smoking gun right there. And she's happy that he killed Harlequin. And then we got the black and white versions. This one works very nice in black and white, it seems to me. This one, not so much. This is just too busy.
Very much like The Prisoner.
Yeah. Yeah. This one, actually, this one probably should have done a little more work on before we put it out there. This one works nicely in black and white. But yeah, you can kind of see why this one doesn't work as a clip art pack, because it's so specific. But they're good drawings, I think.
True. Plus, most people don't know the story.
Yeah. 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 The only place where you still find anyone doing any stuff with this is it's Denmark these days, I think. And even that, it's just on Fastelavn. Just a stray picture. I think that's actually from a issue of Scream. And there we have John Austen again. And that's horrible. We should even that one out. And there's the K. Nielsen arts. And this is kind of all we had was low res scans on this, so this one's going to be really blurry because it's so big on my monitor.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
I
is where
think
this is where I'm saying.
I think they still do it in Venice occasionally.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mostly for the tourists.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, but most other places, I think it fell out of favor in what, the 20s, 30s, something like that, if even
Yeah.
sooner. And oh, there's me with my blind spot again. But yeah, this is where he's having some sort of dream. And there he's at her bedside, and oh look, there's someone trying to come to collect her because she's dying. And the end. So yeah, that as I said, usually when we put out these packs, 3 or 4 of them, like I said, we number our sales in the dozens, but immediately 3 or 4, boom, a dozen if it's like a horror themed one. This, nobody wants it.
You know, I reckon if you gave it a different name, it probably would.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, because we actually we struggled with the title. We could not come up with a decent title for it. And this, finally, we just went. Oh, there's another. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a John Austen illo. Yeah, we put that in this set. That's like the last illustration in that set, I think. The best in this kind are but shadows. So that's why that showed up there. But yeah, the title, we could not come up with a good title, and that was the best we came up with. One was like Death of a Clown, but the clown doesn't actually die. But go back to the drawing board with another title. Yeah. We have done that in the past on a couple other things. Not any of the art
Something
packs.
like The Tale of Harlequin.
Just go straight forward like that?
Yep.
That would probably be smarter. Actually, maybe even we put some text, which we'd also done in some packets in the past. That, I mean, I have to pay you a consulting fee, aren't I?
No, of course not. Hey, I was lucky. I got a classical education. It's nice to be able to use it.
Yeah. Tale of Harlequin. Nice, simple, straightforward, and so easy we didn't even consider it. Well, we were doing some playing around with Harlequin because we just figured that was bit better known than ultimately. Actually, we won this title because we both liked this as a striking image for the cover. But now I'm looking at it all through again. We probably should have gone with one of the Carlos pictures, but maybe it's because I'm so fond of his stuff. But
I would even be tempted to keep the same cover. I would literally just change the name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we like this cover because it's just strange and just, well, a little bit on the creepy side. But yeah, I think we'll do that. That is the beauty of digital publishing. You can just change the cover. I mean, change the title, change the cover, change anything in a heartbeat, and all it takes is a few minutes, and you just got to re-upload things. And
well, I look at it this way: if it ain't selling now, what difference does it make if you change the name and it doesn't sell?
Oh yeah, yeah. And like so many of the Nulo projects, this was, again, one of us liked the idea and wanted to do it, and why not just put it up there?
Yeah, why not? True. That's the beauty of having a small organization. You can do things like that.
exactly. You can do vanity projects and nobody will complain because it's
Yeah.
our shop. It's our shop. We can, but yeah. What else? Yeah, everything else. I don't think anything else has really been processed. But oh, here's some of those Shakespeare pages I was talking about by John Austen. None of these have been really processed yet, but eventually we'll get around to putting these in. This is this was actually this was the end piece for that one edition of Hamlet.
Yeah.
So of course it would end with the rest of silence, but rest is silence. But yeah, some very spooky kind of drawings that
Some really good ones.
so would be would recycle nicely into into other projects. And there's that the original page before we cleaned it up, and I think the wings got taken off on the in that other one. I have to go back take a look, but I think yeah. Uh, I need to put this one in a folder now that I see their wings again. Oh, we had two scans of that. Interesting. But yeah, this is John Austen. I like his stuff a lot. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He was a big. He's one of those
Um,
golden age of illustrators artists that his name gets brought up, um, but very obscure these days. I think, unless you're you know an illustration goober. And then there are the see you reckon yeah. It must have been from the Hamlet. Those female heads that we were looking at earlier, thinking
yeah.
about using because here you have the same motif with the Hamlet nutty with Ophelia. Um, yeah, yeah. I Act three, Scene one. I think actually I got to go back to these came off of those. Like I said, we have those compact discs with all this stuff on it, and I think these actually might have been scans of the original art from somewhere. Just because I'm looking at this and I'm seeing some this down here at the bottom. I don't know who would have made that note. And there's another note. Yeah, let me point to the screen so everyone can see me pointing. Uh, some other notes here. So interesting. I haven't looked at these this closely yet. I'm
It looks
editing.
like someone got the original book and separated them from the book and then took the scans of them.
Yeah, because as I'm saying this, I'm actually looking at the way this is cut, and it does look like it probably came out of. Uh, I don't know, but yeah, this frontispiece from the book, from the collection of the play, and again the failed artist in me loves this picture at large extent because of this little detail right here. Just the way he's
Huh.
sitting and the shoe coming off. That detail just I just enjoy it. Um, and there's Ophelia. So yeah, some of these are going to be processed and going to end up in a set or something. This one actually, I do remember looking at it, and despite my failing to notice nipples in so many other pictures, this one I did notice them, and because I thought, hey, if we adjust the hair just a tiny bit, we can use this illustration. Why I didn't notice them in those other drawings, I think
I
I was
would just go with the excuse of you've seen too many of them.
yes. Oh, and I just had a flashback to your guys' conversation about Chili's adult film.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, um,
It's
decorated by
not
John.
on my recommended viewing list.
No, I am assuming that I will. not be checking that out, even if I did know where it was. And yeah, these are from some German magazines from the 20s. But okay. Uh, yeah, so there's just things in progress. And there's even just things I think these are, yeah, the stuff outside the folder here are just things that I looted while looking for other things, searching for other things. And I came across these on the internet. No, actually, no. Some of these are from the, yeah. It says Tumblr on it. I grabbed it from someone's page, and we need to research it before we do anything with it. But Alberto Martini, there's another one that we have a bunch of illos from.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yep. And I'm trying to remember what it was from. I want to. I don't remember. Might have been a Poe, Edgar Allan Poe
Mm.
adaptation, or it was some sort of ghost story. I remember that much.
It would be bleak enough to be a Poe story.
Yeah. Um, and then there's this one by the same guy, which looks like an almost completely different artist, but it is Martini again.
Huh. It looks like Big Ben in the background.
Yep. But you look at the boat, the gondolas here, and
Yeah.
it's probably somewhere else. And this one actually we have because one of my uh, uh, there's a series of stories that I like that are way outdated and in the style. They're some of the early mysteries. Author's last name was Green. The character's name is Violet Strange, and
Does
Violet
ring a
Strange.
bell.
Yeah, it's completely forgotten. They were published in the late 1800s, and the plots are good. The writing is incredibly purple and stilted, and looking back at it, it's basically uh, a upper class teenage girl who solves murder mysteries,
Hmm.
but she has to do it in such a way that it doesn't really get tracked back to her. So she's always explaining the mysteries to to this police detective or to some other man that's around. And it's just interesting the way the stories are structured because she can't, it'll be scandalous if she is running around solving crime. So it's just also interesting, just the sort of cultural things that upper crust New York back in those days.
Well, yeah. I must admit, I'm a big fan of the Famous Five and the Secret Seven and stuff like that. Enid
you
Blyton and Agatha Christie and
you said you're not a big fan, or you are a big fan?
no, big fan.
Big fan.
I
Okay.
love them to bits. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I like those. I like those sort of mysteries. Well, I have to admit, I have to confess, I actually like them better as movies and TV shows, but I do like the books as well. Uh,
Some of them work. I mean, if you want Agatha Christie movies, you've got to go back to when the old black and white ones, when Margaret Rutherford was playing
yep.
Miss Marple. That's
Yes.
the way Miss Marple's supposed to be. It's so true to the books as well.
Yep. 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 Um, yeah, I've at least reviewed. I've reviewed at least three of those over on my movie blog, and I loved every one of them. There's a Ten
I'm
Lydian.
guessing you probably did Murder at the Gallop.
No,
No.
no.
Oh, I'm surprised. That's one of the
No.
best ones of her series.
I'm blanking on them. One was they were putting on a play, I'm blanking on the title now, of course. Just like I couldn't remember the artists' names earlier. I'm like going senile here. All right, you know what? This is gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to find that name. Sorry. Uh, I'm gonna going all obsessive compulsive here now.
Nothing wrong with that.
Let's see. Let's get out of that, and let's get back to the right one. And let's see. Can I see this? Oh. All right. Why is it not letting me look at the darn thing? Well, let's do it this way. Scroll down. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Yeah, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, there will still be about 100 posts that are already written and programmed that will be showing up on this blog. So
Well, why not?
I'll keep posting from beyond the grave.
It's a good way of freaking people out.
We thought we got him, but he's still being insipid online. What's going on? Let's see, Margaret Rutherford. I think I even tagged her because if not that, then Agatha Christie. Oh, yep. Oh, I only did 2. I thought I did 3. Okay, never mind. Murder Most Foul.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, where they're doing the play. And Murder Ahoy.
Yes, on board the naval training ship. That's a good one. I can never remember the actor's name who plays the male lead officer in that one, but he's brilliant. Who's highlighted in that picture.
This guy, yeah, Lionel Jeffries.
That's it.
Yep.
He's brilliant in that.
Yes, he is. Actually, this whole cast is just fabulous, I thought. Although, I only gave it 6 stars. Why was I being chintzy? I remember liking this movie a lot. What did I not like about it?
Probably because it was so tongue-in-cheek.
That could be.
It did not take itself seriously at all.
Oh, I see why. Okay. Here's my own quote. Although the story and actions of the various criminals and killers don't make a whole lot of sense, and the police are either stupider or lazier than suspension of disbelief can allow for, the film's lead gives such a fun performance that it hardly matters. Yeah.
Yep, that sounds about a fair, good review of it.
Yeah, this is one of those films that was just too silly. I mean, I like silly films. I love silly films. Mel Brooks, I can watch Mel Brooks until the cows come home. But sometimes mystery films, they can just be a little too silly for me. And the stupid cop of the 1930s, the low budget film, the cop is so dumb he can't, literally cannot find his own shoes in some films. That grates on me just a tiny bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just because it was so overdone. And hey, now I'm gonna butcher your name again. So I'll just call you Shallot. How about that? Alshenia? She actually corrected me on it the other night, and I've already forgotten, which is embarrassing.
So, how do you feel about comic books that become films?
It depends on how they approach it. I'm a fairly strong believer in Ashina. Well, I don't know where to put the stresses.
Aishenya?
Ashenia?
We're trying. We're probably doing it completely wrong, but believe me, we are actually trying.
Here, let me just do.
And Welsh English syllables don't mean a hell of a lot.
Broken up into syllables. Yep. Along
Long A at the beginning.
Ashinia. Ashinia. Oh crap! What did I just do? There. All right. So when it comes to comic book movies and just adaptations in general, I think when you're taking something and moving it from one medium to another, it's always going to change. And so with comic books, yeah, you got to look at it that a comic book is not a movie's not a comic book. And as you're doing the close enough, she she gave up on us.
I don't blame her.
No, nor do I. Um, so you need to. That's step number one. You got to look at your different mediums. And step number two, you have to decide whether you're going to be doing a period piece, because there really isn't a comic book you could mention that isn't a period piece, because they all rely very heavily on whatever the standards are of the society at the time, or political situations or tropes. And so once you've made that decision, then you've got to stick with it. I mean, for example, I loved the Iron Man, the Iron Man film, the very first Marvel movie in this latest cycle, because they took the Iron Man origin story and updated it from the 1960 early 60s to the 90s.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yep, they moved it from Korea to Afghanistan, so or Vietnam or Korea, forget exactly where, but yeah. So
yeah,
and they pretty much stayed pretty true to at least one of the versions of Stark over the years.
Yeah.
So, and
but then opposing that, I suppose you've got the absolute disaster they did of the Transformers movies. That were just awful.
That's what people have told me. I actually haven't seen any of those.
Don't do it.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I have a very long list of films that everybody's recommended that I see or that I avoid. That keeps getting longer, and I keep watching old stuff just because.
I don't blame you.
I have that.
Have you read the comics, the original 1980s comics?
The only four, and I don't even remember why I picked them up. It's probably because I thought it was so bizarre. They did G.I. Joe versus the Transformers.
Yeah, those are the
4-issue miniseries. Herb Trimpe did the art.
I'm trying to remember who the publisher was.
Marvel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was still Marvel US then, wasn't it?
Yep, Marvel had the license both for Transformers and for G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And so they did.
Don't read the US ones. If you get the opportunity, read the UK version. They're completely different.
Oh, really? Okay.
And much, much better.
Okay, because these came out after we'd come back to the States permanently. So I saw I read the American version. So is it the same artists and just different scripts,
nope.
or completely different?
Different script, different artists. In fact, when the US one was failing, which it did much sooner than the UK one, they poached quite a few of the UK people to come and, for God's sake, do something and bail this comic book out because it's dying. But I think the US one ran about 80 editions, and the UK one ran over 300.
So this is the Transformer comics, or the?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they did clever. They used to put things like G.I. Joe, Iron Man, and stuff in that comic as well as like a back story script,
Yeah.
and in order to generate interest in people going off to buy those comics.
Oh, okay. Well, another comic, a toy comic that was around, ROM, Space Night, ROM, Space Knights.
Yeah,
I think that was both in the States and in the UK. I think there
yeah.
again they had the X Men and other characters show up in there. In fact, some major X Men stars first appeared in a ROM. Uh, the one that sucks people's powers, Rogue was in there. That was the first time that Rogue showed up apparently. But yeah, I comic book movies. I I don't line
It
up to
seems
see
they go
them.
one of two ways. They're either a great success or a complete and utter disaster, and there's nothing in between.
Yeah, yeah. I think Marvel has kind of managed to be in between in some of them. Unless you're talking financially. I mean, for example, I know a lot of people hated the Miss Marvel film. I didn't hate
Oh,
it.
it was, oh yeah, Captain Marvel, wasn't it? Yeah.
Captain Marvel,
Um,
yes. Sorry.
yeah.
Uh, I I didn't exactly love it either, but then that's
I
because
found it interesting, but not because of the main character, but because it explained the backstory of two other characters.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's suddenly, okay, this is kind of cool to find out this and
yeah.
find
That's
out
what
about Nick Fury before he's Nick Fury as we all know him. That was an Agent Coulson as a brand new agent. It was interesting.
yeah, yep. That's what I was gonna say. Actually, I like that part of it. And one reason why I assumed I wasn't terribly fond of the Captain Marvel character is because I'm sort of stuck in the '70s. That I even called it Miss Marvel by mistake, um,
Yeah.
because I read some of those books as a kid, and I went out and bought those big. I don't know if those were overseas or not. Here in the States, they did these big black and white collections of like 500 pages worth of comics. So 40 issues in just this one big fat book. And they did a whole for like 2 or 3 years. They did a whole big series of these. I have out in the other room. I've got like a whole shelf, a whole wall full of those things. And they collected all of the original Miss Marvel in one of those. And I read it about a year before they did the new movie. Um, and so yeah, I'm kind of
Well, it happens. I mean, it's why I have such a thing with the Transformer movies. It's literally Transformer comic books taught me English.
oh,
That's where I learned English from.
reading the comics. Okay.
Yeah. The comics looked really cool, and I wanted to be able to read them. So it started off with my godfather reading them to me in English and me picking it up.
Actually, that's a not well, almost similar to how, yeah, a little bit similar. When we moved to Denmark, we were just dropped into a Danish school. I mean, uh, my dad knew a teacher there. She just gotten back from Africa, where she'd been a missionary or something, and so she tutored us in English after school. And but some of the kids there gave us comics, and so we were reading some of these Danish comics or Danish translations of
Yeah.
uh, Italian comics, I think, and French comics, Tintin and uh, Asterix and Obelix. And then later we got back to reading them in English because when we went back to England, we now knew about these comics, and so we sought them out. And
Yeah.
actually, a disaster, comic book disaster, Howard the Duck.
Uh,
Um, as a generic movie, it's average, but as them trying to Howard the Duck, I thought they really missed the boat. But then I have a soft spot for Steve
They
Gerber
definitely
and his style. What is this? A full Spider-Man tattoo on his arm? Well, he better watch out. Marvel will come after him, or Disney will come after him.
Yes, that one
Try.
scene though in the Iron Man movies is hilarious.
Um,
Where he's
oh
trying
yes.
to learn to
Okay.
fly and the robot keeps wanting to put him out even though he's not on fire.
Yes, I actually I misread the sentence. Had to read it twice before I understood what actually was being said. That was just me having a complete brain fart. Yeah, actually, the Iron Man. Maybe it's the passage of the years, but Iron Man, I think, is still my favorite of the Marvel movies. Doctor Strange is a close second.
I think a lot of it has to do with getting the right actor as well. Because it's not just been good for the role, but can you seriously imagine anybody but Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man now?
Mm-mm. No, even when I was recently rereading one of those big phone book collections of Iron Man comics, and I heard Robert Downey Jr.'s voice when I
Yeah,
was reading Clark.
to me, that shows perfect that they got the absolute right person because he has become Iron Man in everyone's subconscious. He is Iron Man.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and of course they started drawing him in the comics looking a little bit like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
Uh, so, but yeah, actually the whole development of the armor. Actually, they did a very nice job with that in the film.
they
Um,
did. And of course, the other one that's hugely accurate to the comic is Deadpool.
there's another blind spot in films
Oh,
that I have not seen a single one of, but people have praised them to the heavens as being just absolutely hilarious.
you definitely should.
Okay.
Because it's, again, one of those movies that will not take itself seriously. And even to the point where he puts in bits that are taking the mick out of decisions he made, like where he played the Green Lantern. There's a whole bit he does having a go at himself for playing the Green Lantern and the movie that they made.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. I have seen about half an hour of the Green Lantern film, and which was more than I really wanted to, because
he agreed with you on this. Brian Reynolds completely agrees with you on this movie was awful.
but the I was probably unfair toward the Deadpool film, just because I have a. It's probably unfair, but my first encounter with the creator of Deadpool, Rob Liefeld, was not a positive one. And the comics I've read by him over the years, even putting aside my, uh, weren't all that good. And so Deadpool, I probably was being unfairly biased because, again, going against my own kind of rule there that comics are one medium, film are another. So you have to take it and transfer it. And plus, the Deadpool, I guess, that they're basing it on is more of a comedic character, and the one that I was
Yes,
vaguely familiar with. Um,
they have lightened him up a lot. He's not quite as dark and moody and psychotic.
because he was sort of a bad cross between Wolverine and the Punisher,
Yeah,
with stealing a bit from the Teen Titans villain, not Taskmaster. Wilson Slade is the character's civilian name.
um,
Uh,
yeah. No, it's not gonna.
yeah.
No, can't win.
Okay. Yeah, it's been way too long since I've looked at anything Teen Titans, or New Teen Titans.
But someone else is also a Doctor Strange fan.
Yes, I turned it on, then I got off on this tangent. Um, Benny C. Who's Benny C? I forget.
His cohort, the one that
Oh,
helps Doctor Strange.
that's the actor's name.
Yeah, but Ben is also the character's name, I think, because
Oh,
he wouldn't
okay.
answer to anything else. So they changed the character name because he just wouldn't answer to anything else.
Oh, so he's not Wong anymore? Okay.
I think he's Benny Wong is actually
And
the full the name.
yes, that line, Dormammu, I've come to bargain, that is also good. Everything about that Doctor Strange movie is good. It goes back to they did the same approach to the Iron Man film. They pretty
Yeah.
much stayed true to the original material and just updated it. Oh, and I'm
The
about
only
half.
thing I didn't like was towards the end, of the Avenger series, where they tried to make them all have like their faults and not be the superheroes and lower them down a bit. And it's like, no, no, the point of superheroes is it's supposed to make everybody else aspire to be that, not to bring them down to us.
Yeah, yeah, that seems to be something that the modern comic book creators have lost complete sight of. Um, well, actually, even mystery writers. Every person has to be flawed, or even perhaps fatally flawed in some way or another. Well, yeah, there's a point that perfect characters are boring characters. Escapism is nice once in a while. It's
Yeah,
actually nice to have a hero who is selfless and heroic and does things because it's the right thing to do.
yeah.
Um,
But that
doesn't
was the
quite.
point of that whole genre was to be that.
Yep, yep. Uh,
There was a strong moral code in all of those comics for kids of that era that was designed that you're supposed to aspire to be this. You might fall flat on your face, but you got to at least try it.
yep. And even well, actually, before I forget, let me just make this joke. I'm glad that he's still named Wong because my one of my great unfulfilled dreams, and I did write this pitch. It was first as a 4 issue series and as a one shot, and they both said no to both times. But there needs to be, the tagline for this is, um, she's a powerful mutant. He's he is the manservant of the Sorcerer Supreme. Together they're detectives, White and Wong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried it with two different editors, 5 years apart, and they both said, "No, thank you, go away." Come on,
But
White and
yeah,
Wong, the perfect title.
it
Um,
also does, you're absolutely right. It does, it's a message you've got that I think is absolutely perfect.
what? I'm sorry.
Uh, you've got a new message that I think absolutely explains it perfectly.
Oh, also, it's also delusions perfection. Yeah, yeah. So it's even superheroes have flaws,
It
and
just takes away from it. It spoils it in a bit.
yeah, yeah. Part of the.
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch, you meant. Ah, right.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Who was
Wait,
brilliant in that, but awful as Sherlock Holmes.
that grew on me. That series actually. I was like you when I well, I had a friend that loved it, and she pretty much sat me down and made me watch it. So maybe it's, some sort of Stockholm syndrome that ultimately kicked in. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, the first few episodes, I couldn't stand the way he was playing Holmes, and then when they got to I think the second batch of episodes, I was, nah, okay, I suppose. And then they did the Rickenbach Falls the sort
yeah.
of ham-fisted attempt,
Mm.
And then I was back to, all right, this is just dumb. I cannot stand
Yep.
this. Um,
Strangely, America has made the best version of Holmes in recent years, and
yes,
that has to be Elementary. That is brilliant.
yep,
It's a
yeah,
sheer just brilliance.
but it was interesting until those two shows came along. I was kind of the mindset that 1940s is about as late as you can make Sherlock Holmes. I mean, as far as period wise.
Yeah,
Beyond that, you're going to run into problems of technology and problems of just social standards in general. Um, okay, now I see what she's saying. Um, but those two shows, the way the one thing I kind of enjoyed was the way they brought cell phones and texting into the homes. I forget the name of the British one. Sherlock.
yeah.
I kind of liked the texting thing. They overdid it a bit, but in concept, I kind of liked the way it worked. But I agree with you 100%. The elementary series from beginning to end,
Far
just
superior.
absolutely fantastic. I mean, when they did their little Touchstone episodes that came out wrong, that sounded mean, but when they did the hey, we are going to echo plots from the original stories, they did those just again absolutely
I
brilliant.
mean, what a brilliant take on Hound of the Baskervilles.
Yes, yes,
That was brilliant.
yes.
And the fact that they didn't try and clean him up. He was a recovering drug addict, just like the original one was.
Yep.
And all these things, they kept them in there. The fact that he was so socially awkward, it was beyond belief. Yeah, they kept all that in there. And it was just brilliant to see.
Yeah.
But then I also like the Robert Downey films, the Sherlock Holmes films. I thought those were quite good.
Yeah, yeah. I kept hoping there'd be a third one. I mean, I know some people didn't like the second one. Quite a
The
few people I
second
know.
one wasn't as good as the first one, but then that often happens.
Yep. And part of me was, well, actually, have you seen Imitation Game? Then I'll go back to what I was talking about because that's
It's a
another one of those
really
films
good
I
film.
haven't seen.
It's a really good film. He was also good in the Star Trek film he did, where he played a younger Carl Union Carl. Carl, yeah, Carl.
Yeah,
Can't remember his.
yeah. That. Well, I recognize it was a good film and I enjoyed watching it. I, s- I dislike Wrath of Khan so much
True.
that when I saw that one,
Arguably, definitely one of the top two Star Trek films ever made, Wrath of Khan.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
the only one that comes, you could maybe switch around with it, would have to be Undiscovered Country.
yeah,
The
yeah,
last proper original cast film.
yeah. None of the Next Generation films were, in my opinion, were all that good. And actually, I never did see the Borg one, so I guess I can't judge that one. I
The Borg one wasn't bad.
wait, no,
Interaction wasn't bad either, to be fair.
which one had them inventing the hyperdrive or the warp drive rather? That was the Borg one.
That was the Borg one, yeah,
Okay.
First Contact.
All right, I did see that then, but all I remember is him zooming away in the with his ship playing the rock music. So yeah, I wasn't didn't like that much. But the problem with those Star Trek films, um, I liked the guy that they had Kirk. I liked his Shatner impersonation. I thought that was good. But I, man, it's been so long. I've forgotten.
I think you have to accept them as completely freestanding from the other films in order for them to be any good for you, for them to work.
Yeah. Oh, was he in? Where was Nimoy in the second one as well, or just the first one, or was he in the second one?
He was in all the three of them.
He was in all of them, and all in two.
Yeah.
Oh, there were three.
They put him in the third one, even though he died.
Okay, I've only seen two. I need to seek out the third one then.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What is it? There's Star Trek. Um,
That,
then you've got the one with Into Darkness, I think, and then you've got the third one where they actually destroy the Enterprise and then
oh,
get a
okay.
new Enterprise,
Oh,
mirroring what happened, of course, in the originals.
yeah. Okay, I didn't. Oh, I haven't seen the third one then, because
Yeah,
so they wow, yeah. But go back to Imitation Game. Like I said, I've not seen it, but it's a great movie. You have to watch it to the end. The update at the end just makes it even more profound. So they talk about the code and spoil it.
it's a terrible thing what happened with Turing. I'm trying to remember what the exact ending of the film was, and I can't because Turing is such a big personality over here. He's taught a hell of a lot in school, so we all know the story.
Yeah. Well, I know
But
that
what
that
they did to him was absolutely awful.
yeah. All I know about him is he did the can't say anything without spoiling it. Yeah, actually, I suppose I should consider anyone that might come across this and still be watching this deep in that. Personally, I don't spoilers don't bother me because uh, I spent a number of years reading press kits, even before I saw the films, so I'm used to having them spoiled.
You
Um,
had professional spoilers.
yeah, that and chances are I will forget. But when I finally get around to watching it, I will forget the spoiler until it's like on their screen. Go, oh, that's what she was talking about. But yeah, oh yeah, I know that that he was closeted. I believe he was
He
closeted.
wasn't closeted.
He wasn't
No.
closeted. Oh, okay.
They just chose to ignore it while he was useful for the war effort.
Okay. Well, that's no good.
The war ended, all of a sudden he wasn't useful anymore. Once he'd broken the code, they weren't interested in him anymore, so they didn't protect him.
Okay.
And yeah, his life was made a living hell.
That's okay. Actually, I think I've read that about him. Um, yeah, but really, all I knew about him was that he invented the machine that smashed through the German codes.
Yeah. And of
Um,
course, the test we still use for AIs
yeah,
to see whether they are AIs or just what people are trying to sell as AIs, which are not.
because that's the phrase. What is the Turing test? It's even called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Queen pardoned him and gave him a medal after his death. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't do anything for him beforehand.
But yeah, actually, a lot of brilliant people society mistreats.
Yeah,
Um, it's only years later.
unfortunately.
It's only years later where we go, oh, that guy actually. Yeah, we shouldn't have been so sucky toward him. Some of it take centuries, but at least Turing, it's only taken us a few decades. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but imagine how much further down the line we could have been if we didn't isolate the leading computer genius of his time.
yeah. No kidding. No.
Oops.
Yeah. If he had all the support and tools he needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of switched over to the uh, to the imitation game. No, imitation game. What's the
Mm-hmm.
name of the movie? Imitation game. Okay.
Imitation game.
Yep. Um, but the Sherlock Holmes films we were talking about a moment ago, the Robert Downey ones, Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr. ones. Um, the second film, I had the impression, I had the sense of that there are two kinds of in series films. There's two kinds of second movies, and this is going to sound stupid. Now that I'm saying it out loud, but you got The Empire Strikes Back, which are really good middle parts to the series, and then you've got the second Sherlock Holmes movie, Robert Downey Jr. second. So when I watched it, I went, okay, not the greatest, but hey, there's going to be a follow up to this, and the loose ends are they're gonna pick some stuff up, and it's going to be a banger of a movie. But there was never a third movie, so
Yet.
yeah, I suppose they could.
But he's got no more Iron Man to do now, so he might have the time to do a third one.
They could come back to it. And that was Guy Ritchie doing those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is strange, because I think most of Guy Ritchie's stuff is utter junk and would be better off just burning the film before anyone saw it. And then all of a sudden he goes and produces that, and you're like, okay, maybe the guy has got some talent.
Was he a Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him. I think that was one of those turn off your brain and it's fun, but if you try to think about it too much, it doesn't quite hang together. If I'm remembering it correctly, it's been a long time.
Also, it's a bit of a problem if you're British.
Oh?
It's just complete and utter junk. The way they talk, the words they're using, you're like, yeah, no.
Okay, because I remember watching going, oh, okay, British gangsters. Interesting. Statham is British, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess he didn't care to correct them. Or he couldn't because...
from what I've heard, Guy Ritchie doesn't take a lot of correction well.
Okay. Yeah. I've actually... That's what I was looking around for a moment ago, too. I want to make a quick note here to add it to my list of things I need to watch. Imitation Game. But yeah, there was that one. Then there was another one of those English gangster movies. But was Two Smoking Barrels? That's the one with the guy playing the traveler and doing the accent.
I honestly can't remember that one.
Okay. Yeah. I think it doesn't matter.
There was a whole slew of them that came out just after it because it had been such a box office success that everybody started trying to make them, and yeah.
Even transporting some of those British criminals to Boston. I forget the name of those films, but yeah.
Oh God, yeah, yes.
They made two of those. Those were awful.
Yeah. Although one good film did come out of combining this whole thing for British gangsters and zombies. And that's Cockneys versus Zombies, which is a hilarious film.
I haven't even heard of that.
I don't think it was a huge success, but it's hilarious. Especially when you have OAPs fighting the zombies and winning.
Okay.
It's one of them films. Don't take your brain. Just go to have fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, see,
it really does appeal to that childish, emotional side, of just, this is hilarious. Who cares?
I enjoy those kind of movies. I enjoy them a lot. And in fact, I was at, I think it was New Year's Eve. Many years ago, I wrote a book that ended up being titled 150 Movies You Should Die Before You See. And it was a book about, the title says, these are movies you don't want to watch. But the introduction of the book said, because it started out as something different, and then the editor got a brilliant idea, and then the project changed directions a little bit. But anyhow, the introduction says there are some truly awful movies in this book, but they're also some of my personal all-time favorite films. But they're not for everybody. And so you have to pay attention to the chapter headings and to know whether this is a crappy movie or not. For example, I love an early Peter Jackson film called Brain Dead. It's basically a guy goes off to Monster Island, gets bit by a monkey, and brings zombie disease back to Australia. And by the time this movie is getting to it, coming to it, getting close to its conclusion, the hero is swinging across an open space like he's Errol Flynn, but he's using a zombie's intestines to do it, and he is using a lawnmower to defeat zombies. He's putting zombie babies in blenders. I mean, it is just absolutely over the top, insane, completely gross and disgusting. But I love it. But
That reminds me of Army of Darkness.
it has a similar vibe. It has a very similar vibe. It's actually closer to the original. Not actually closer in tone to the remake of Evil Dead, Evil
Yeah.
Dead 2, which again I had an argument with a coworker, a discussion. She was trying to tell me that no, Evil Dead 2 is a sequel to Evil Dead, and she was explaining why, and I'm saying no, it's a remake. It's the exact same story as the first Evil Dead, and the setup is almost the same. And then she said, "You need to go back and watch both those movies because you'll see I'm right." Okay. I'll put it on my list of many movies I need to get back to. There are very few films I've seen more than once because there is so much stuff. There's always something new to watch. And
Yeah.
and so people that say, "Oh, I've seen Empire Strikes Back 38 times." Oh, God, I wish I had your kind of time.
So then you must believe, as I do, that a movie can be so bad that it becomes good.
Oh yes, oh yes. And again, I have to go back about 20 years now, where for a period there, that was my thing. Actually, was to watch and review bad movies. That's where how that book started. Yeah. And then when I think it was one of the publishers, one of the main editors, he gave me a list of movies that he thought should be included in the book. But it was up to me whether I included them or not. He's just the guy that owns the company, and so yeah, whatever you want to do. Okay, fine.
Yeah, one of them meetings.
Yeah. And again, the editor told me that it's your book, but he really would like you to review these films. And I'm looking at it, these aren't bad movies. They're weird movies. They're unusual movies, but they're not bad. They're not even in this they're so bad they're good category. They're just off the wall strange. But yeah, as I'm talking, I'm trying to remember some of the ones that I would bring up as examples of movies that I think are so. Nudist Colony of the Dead. There's one that I think is bad. It's good. I have a friend that will never forgive me for making us watch that on bad movie nights. But come on, it's a nudist colony. It's zombies and it's a musical. How can you not like this film?
I know. Starship Troopers.
Yes. Yep. Actually, Starship Troopers is a film that I just think a lot of people don't understand. They take it. Unless I'm the one that's not understanding it, I saw it as it's a comedy. I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, it's like what was it, Galaxy Quest, which was just a comedy parody of Star Trek. We've
Yep.
now got Orville, which is the same thing. It's a comedy parody of Star Trek, but they're just good anyway.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
one of the weirdest things with films I've seen lately is with Chili, actually. I was going back through some of his back catalogue and Delete Law's catalogue, and they were trying to portray Bane from the Star Trek movie, from the Batman films, as the good guy.
Wait. Oh, Chili was doing a film analysis, and he was.
No, they were using him as a thumbnail and referencing him in what they were talking about as if he was the good guy in the scenario.
Uh. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, have I really missed this somehow in this film, or suddenly slipped into a different reality?
Yeah. It's been a very long time, and I'm trying to remember how you could possibly interpret that as Bane.
Apparently, it's because he wanted to destroy the system, restore balance, and hated cops. Therefore, was the good guy, despite wanting to commit genocide.
Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised considering the source, but no, he's not the
But
good.
his fans were lapping this up. They thought this was the greatest insight into the Batman films ever, and you think, really? What, how? I would love to sit down to him and get him to explain to me some of these theories he has,
Yeah.
because I can't get my brain to make them make sense.
I One of the things, like, I worked on a product line where the villains in the series are uh they're sort of your gothic hero that took a wrong turn. I mean, or a
Yeah,
hero that took the wrong turn. He had a choice to make. You go left, you're a hero. You go right, you are just an absolute bad guy. Um, so I have written sympathetic bad guys. In fact, one of the things I did, it was an adventure called A Circle of Darkness. Um, I felt so sorry for the villain and the bad guy because the backstory I gave him was not quite like Turing, but he was in a totalitarian society. He was a gay guy. He mistook signals he got. Oh, evil wizard society too. This is fantasy. He mistook signals from another wizard that he too was a gay guy, and he came on to him. That other wizard then turned around and told everyone about his proclivities, and they grabbed him and they covered him in tattoos that only females wear. And then he turned around and invented a spell that nuked the city. So, but again, the guy really didn't have much room to be a sort of a hero figure. But I felt sorry for the character. So when I had to do this scenario with him, I gave him a happy ending. Basically, when I did these game adventures,
yeah,
depending on what characters did, there would be a several path. I always designed them where there are several paths, and so depending on the paths choices the characters make, there's 3 or 4 different outcomes, and 3 out of 4 outcomes in this case. I mean, the characters win, the evil is defeated, but this villain in his demise actually at least gets some little bit of happiness. Um, but I cannot even with me sympathy for the devil. I don't see where Bane in that film can be treated as a hero at all. It's like watching Die Hard and saying, well, Hans Gruber was just trying to stick it to the megacorp. No, he was just a thief stealing.
yeah.
Um,
But no, they're yeah, They have a unique interpretation on some things.
Uh, yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's a film that I didn't see until I was in my 20s. Um, and a friend convinced me to go see it. And I had a good time.
Yeah,
Um,
it's well worth the thing.
didn't hate
Did
it.
you dress up?
No, no, I did not. In fact, very few people were, and I think this might have
Yeah.
been a Salt Lake City thing. That's where I saw it. I was living in Salt Lake City at the time, and I don't know whether it was the LDS thing or what, the Mormon thing, or whether it was
Yeah,
something
it could well
else.
be.
But yeah, some people did in the theater did you know talk along with the dialogue. Um, but the friend that made me go see it, she was actually disappointed, and so was her friend, in that people weren't dressed up, because that's the thing they wanted me to see. They wanted me to see the spectacle of it all, and there was no spectacle. Just people were there watching the movie. Um,
Well, yeah, it does take away from it a bit if there isn't everybody joining in and dressed up and
but yeah, they did do the talk along with the dialogue. That was perfect grammar. That was Englishing is hard. What can I say? Um,
well,
um, I'm still
it's
stuck.
not Englishing is hard. It's Englishing in front of the camera is hard.
Yeah,
Because you step away from there and everybody's perfectly fine and normal and speaks properly. You put the camera in front of them and it's like, yeah, okay, my IQ just dropped by 70 points, mate. It's gone.
I'm I'm still stuck on Bane. I
I
part of me
was for quite some time.
part of me today in your stream was going, all right, I'm being a little too rude toward people, but because I was expressing my I guess disdain for people that don't
You
see
were
through.
being a lot less rude than I was.
But that people can't see through his nonsense. It blows my
Yeah.
mind. But if people's critical faculties are so weak that they can't they will buy into this, Bane hate cops, therefore Bane is a hero. Bane was blowing up a city full of people. Yeah.
But then
Uh,
it wasn't a city they care about.
yeah. Well, yes, that does seem to be the a unifying factor there.
And things like, look, they were quite prepared to accept his lie that the FBI started in the 1960s. Sorry, not the FBI, the Department of Justice started in the 1960s.
That whole sequence of him talking about the bureaucracies and the law enforcement, I don't know that I've heard such concentrated nonsense in a very long time. The dates were wrong, the order of things were wrong.
Just a little bit.
His, and that's why I had to start babbling about, well, his interpretation of John Locke is wrong. His placement of John Locke in history is wrong. That's
John
why I started
Locke would
thinking,
stab him to death if he heard the things he was doing to his treaties.
yes. That's why I started
I
making those
mean, the
comments.
guy did have several duels, so we do know John Locke was not afraid to pick up a sword or a pistol.
Right. That's why I was saying, okay, maybe it's the wrong John Locke.
No,
No.
he's just watched some bloody idiot on YouTube doing a video about John Locke, and he thinks everything that idiot said was gospel. But then he watched that a couple of years ago, so he doesn't even remember that properly now. So
So,
that's become twisted.
so I didn't misunderstand what he was saying. I thought, all right, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you commenting, and for giving me a couple of films to add to my list that I have to see. So have a good night. Oh my gosh, it's almost 3 a.m.
Okay.
Uh,
That's what happens when you have an interesting conversation. Time
yeah,
just gone.
yeah, no, that is absolutely true. Um, but yeah, I should probably be an adult pretty soon here. I'll be hating myself in the morning. But let me just wrap up this John Locke thought, because and Chili, I thought I missed because, well, as I've said, I kind of come and go during your streams because,
Yeah.
um, but today actually I've managed or yesterday I managed to focus a lot more than typical, and but I still thought I must have missed something because he can't possibly have been basing. This is me thinking. He can't possibly have been basing all of this talk about John Locke and how much he admired John Locke on a YouTube video that he watched. He must have read the book that he keeps referencing, and it
No,
sounded like
he confesses to it. Right at the end of his stream, he confessed to this is how he learnt about John Locke, was on YouTube.
I mean, for God's sakes, at least listen to an unabridged version on book on tape or something.
Yeah, there's this
Okay,
wonderful thing called Audible. It's
yeah,
brilliant. I use it, I must admit, mainly because of spending so long at the computers. I don't read as much now as I used to because I find my eyes get tired. But I have almost 7,000 books on Audible that I
mhm,
listened to.
yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. It's a great way of taking in literature, especially if they get the right person doing the reading. It can become really captivating. A couple of times I've had to turn it off because I've suddenly looked at it and gone, yeah, I should have been asleep 5 hours ago, but this is really good.
Yeah, yeah. I had a friend that was lending me books on CD that I was listening to, and I pretty much had to say, okay. And they're supposed to be in the just in the car, going to and from
Yeah.
work with parents. But I started taking them in and listening to them because found them so fascinating. And yeah, same thing. It's like tonight. Suddenly it's 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning. Oh my god, I should have been in bed hours ago. But one more chapter. What the hell?
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what you do. But they've never done that. Literally, all of their knowledge comes
Uh,
from some other jackass on the internet who probably got his from some other jackass on the internet. So it's like Chinese whispers. By the time it's got to them and they're giving it to you, it
yeah.
bears no resemblance to what he was saying. Because I actually had to study John Locke in school. We had
Uh,
a teacher who I swear hated all children, so made us study John Locke.
oh my god.
Never been so happy to see that someone died in my life. But oh, they were horrible teacher. And they would pick things like John Locke, Montesquieu, all these kind of people. Yeah, yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, this is just what I want to read at 12 years of age. But and I'm sat there and I'm thinking, all right, now I've either completely lost my mind and can't remember what happened back then, or this guy is not quoting this right.
yeah. Yeah. It's see, they, putting away sarcasm for once here. I am sincerely coming to believe that he is not right about anything.
He isn't.
If if he tells me that my car is red and it's parked at the end of the drive, I would have to go out and look. to make
Well,
Yes, my car is indeed red, and yes, it is indeed parked at the end of the drive. Um,
I can understand how you come to that. But to me, what's really disturbing that we've been finding out as we're doing more research is how everybody connected to this group in some form of putting out videos or their stories, they all have the most disturbing criminal histories you've ever read in your life.
mhm.
And it's like, how are these people not in jail? Seriously, the charges they've done, you're thinking they should still be in jail.
Yeah.
And yet they walk amongst us.
Well, the last couple of years, at least in the area I live, they got real lenient with who they were putting in jail and who they were um, not. Well, you had to kill
Yeah.
someone to be put in jail, basically. Uh, Child molesters are on home detention, as for example. Um,
But these guys ain't even on that. They're just allowed to roam
yeah,
free and happy and, you know. like the one we covered last night at the beginning, Jason Dollar, he's got cases still pending from 2019 that
Yeah.
haven't been before the judge yet. And you think, how? How? You know, there is that bit in the Constitution that says about a speedy trial. I think you're stretching that with 4 years.
Well, yeah, COVID screwed things up, screwed a lot of court systems up, and the fix that was done in, I don't know if it was the county I live in or the neighboring one, but the prosecutor, the chief prosecutor, decided just to just all these cases, we're not going to pursue them. No.
Okay, that sounds like the most stupid idea ever.
Yep, that's how they cleared up the backlog of cases. This pile
Wouldn't the
here,
better idea of just be to employ more judges?
you think, but bring some back in from retirement if nothing else, just for temporary. Yeah. What didn't you get? What didn't you get about what didn't you get? Animal Farm or 1984? Uh,
Uh,
I don't. Well, oh, don't get me started on this topic. It's not a burning building; it's just a spirited protest. The building within which I work was being set on fire, and on the news they're talking about the peaceful protests in Seattle.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it was
Hey,
just,
look, the left-wing nut jobs are just as bad as the right-wing nut jobs.
oh
At the
yes,
end of the day, they're all fucking nut jobs. It doesn't matter which flag they're waving.
absolutely true, absolutely true. Uh, and they sit them down and have them talk to each other, they would discover they have a lot more in common than they think. Uh,
Yeah, let's not ever do that because that'd double their numbers.
yeah, yeah,
It's bad enough now, at least they're separated. It's only one playing up at a time, or they're too busy killing each other to worry about the rest of us.
yeah, yeah,
That's fine. Leave them kill each other. That's perfectly fine because they're not coming after the rest of us.
yeah. Actually, about 10, 15 years ago. Now, how long has YouTube been around?
Oh, what, 2000s?
Okay, so
2000 and...
I just
It's got to
remember,
be early 2000s.
yeah, I just remember right around the time when I first started looking at YouTube. It must have been 2010 or 2011 or something like that. Watching the videos and thinking to myself, okay, it's good that this crazy person has an outlet here on this video platform, because if he's doing it here, he's not out there kind of rabble rousing. And fast forward 10 years and I find, Chilito, and going, oh crap, people actually are paying attention and people are actually listening. And I hope people aren't acting on what he's suggesting. Oh God, people are acting on what he's suggesting.
Yeah.
Um,
And then when they end up in trouble, he just tells them, well, you mustn't have done what I said properly. You must have done something wrong.
yeah. And it's just something else I do will not ever comprehend. At least I hope I never gain comprehension, because I'll be worried about myself. Why did the people think that it's a brilliant idea to argue with the police officers trying to write you a ticket? Um, you're only
Because they
escalating.
think...
You're escalating the situation, and
Mhm.
he can't. You've done the infraction. He's clocked you in the infraction. The next step is for you to talk to the judge, and that's where you get rid of it.
Yeah. And sometimes, hey, you know what? Police have discretion. Maybe if you're not a jackass to them, they'll let you off.
Yes. See, that's another thing that just blows my mind. Police have discretion, so they think arguing with him will make him not write the ticket. At least I'm assuming that's how the logic works. Because,
Yep.
but it's the other way around. Because I've had this happen to me at least once. You know, you were speeding. Why were you speeding? Where were you going? I'd say blah, blah. Okay, don't do it again. And off I go under the speed limit. But if I had started arguing, you don't need to know where I'm going. That's none of your business. Why are you stopping me? Even though he told me why he was stopping me. I'm traveling. I'm not driving. I'm traveling. Now I'm just being silly. But yeah. Um, it is a mystery to me. Big a mystery is people can't tell riot protests from riots. Um,
Oh, sorry, I got distracted there actually because our mutual lovable dwarf friend has filed a new filing in the Massachusetts court case.
oh, he has. Oh,
He has, and it makes no sense whatsoever.
oh, you okay?
I
I
was
should probably.
just reading it, and I'm not actually sure what he's trying to say other than the judge is mean to me.
He's back on that one, is he? Oh God. Yeah, I've been banned from. I don't know if I mentioned this and where I mentioned this, but I've been banned from watching any chili videos or chili related videos um, at work because the my main coworker uh, can't
Oh
stand me
God,
watching
no.
things about that stupid guy.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say for a minute then that your main co-worker was a supporter.
No, 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 no,
She
no.
had me worried.
He is so stupid that she can't even stand having it drift across the our shared office. She can't stand hearing him speaking his nonsense. So good thing she's on her weekend. I have 2 days to catch up. If it's
Oh,
slow, I
well.
know it would be slow though, not on weekdays. And uh, so I guess I'll be getting up tomorrow
The
and read it.
basis of his new court filing is that because the judge allowed for Kate's filing to be made, even though she was 2 days late because her lawyer had made a mistake, that he should be allowed to have his filing that she's already ruled against 5 times to have the case dismissed brought allowed in. So
I
he's
am,
now going for the 7th time he wants her to rule on his damn motion to dismiss the case.
which she already said, don't ask me again, at least twice in two different ways.
Yeah,
And
I think the last time was if you ask me again, I'm going to punch you.
I must be psychic though, because when Wish filed that thing late and he said, oh, we're late, I went, you know what? Chili's going to go back on, well, I get to file late too then. Uh, and he did. Okay. No, I'm not
And
psychic.
apparently the judge should just allow it regardless of her own personal opinion because the law says so.
uh, well, and Dave here says he has to stay up and watch Merb.
I
Well,
wouldn't.
you can always just watch the replay. That's what I tend to do on most things. Especially,
You may have noticed me and Merv do not get along.
oh, I had not tumbled to that actually.
He
Um,
hates me, I hate him. It's quite equitable.
okay. So what's the root of the disagreement?
Uh, he thinks I'm a giant jackass. I think he's a giant jackass.
Oh, okay.
And we both think each other are stupid.
Uh, okay. I think,
Yeah, it's a long and complicated
yeah.
story, but we just don't like each other and don't rate each other's opinions.
Okay, I have a couple of people like that
Yeah,
I try to avoid at all costs if I can.
and I don't know if you get Jim Finch's newsletter about what's going on and stuff. He does this great newsletter every day. He
No.
publishes it up on his site. I think it's realcoolnews.org. and he does a roundup each day of what's gone on the day before.
I'm curious. Well, it's well known enough that I just typed in "real cool" and it wants to repopulate "real cool news."
Yeah.
And I think I've ever looked for this before. Well, let me see. Oh no, I see what happened. It was just trying to predict what I was looking for. Because now I have a thing that says news about real cool. So realcoolnews.org, you say?
Yeah.
Sent me to some place called civilbeat.org. Let's try that again. Real cool news.org. There we go. Can't reach this page.
Hang on. I'm sure I got the. I'll just double check I got the address right. Jim sends me so much stuff every day that it's.
Well, it could also
He enjoys sending me MERB stuff. Oh, realcoolsite.org. Sorry.
Real cool site. Okay.
Yeah. It's my fault.
Site as in SITE or as in realcool.org or .com?
.org.
Oh, I'm still not. Maybe my internet is still not working right because it's still not letting me go. Real. Just all
really
one word.
Cool. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Reallycoolsite.org.
All right. Someone put in the wrong URL. I won't say who it was.
Or I spoke it incorrectly.
Oh. Oh my God, he's got chili on his front page.
Yep.
Wow.
But he updates it every day, and it's got what happened yesterday, the catch up on the.
Yeah,
it's quite handy sometimes if you haven't got time to get round everybody. He'll do the highlights of the day for you, so you know what you missed.
Yeah, I saw a piece on you on one of your streams. You were restreaming DeCastroing on about the prosecutor, calling her honey bunny, and I see that here. Chili DeCastro attacks prosecutor. Oh, satire.
Yep.
Then next down below. But part of me was, all right. I'll do a little bit of chili commentary like I did on another video. But then I couldn't. I couldn't bear listening to him to figure out where he was doing that garbage. I can only stand so much. I understand. I understand my coworker because I can only take him in small doses.
You ought to try having to do the research on him.
Oh, you guys are doing God's work.
I swear the rest of the team just are kind of looking at me now like they want to summarily execute me. I think it's a good thing there's some distance between us all, otherwise we would kill each other at this point.
But it is interesting that you mentioned this a little earlier, that he seems to be attracting troubled people, for lack of a better word.
The ones I genuinely feel sorry for are his listeners who are listening out of him out of sheer desperation because their lives are going down the shitter and they think he has the solution. And they will give him their last few dollars.
Did I put this up there? Oh, I put it up there. There. Merv hates everybody. Yeah, he does seem to.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the one.
It's just the degrees of hatred that vary.
I find him. Again, I'm not an expert in the topics he covers, so I find it kind of interesting.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
His absolute arrogance is a little bit of annoyance when I try to to watch him. Because even
It's
though he
much better
said,
watching with the volume off.
well, there's subtitles, I guess we could try that. Uh, but yeah, he's he likes to say, well, I could be wrong, but no, you don't really believe that, Mr. Merv. But interesting. Okay. So yeah, I'll have to. So this is like a almost like a
It's
pop
basically a
culture.
newspaper.
Yeah, yeah.
Occasionally, like with that one, he put in a bit of satire, but that's only because he was losing his mind trying to think how he could seriously cover what Chili was saying. So he did it as a parody.
Oh, he's actually covering the whole back and forth with Chili and Kate Peter.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he covers all of that. He covers. We get mentioned in there quite a bit, but that's mainly because we've done research on things that other people haven't. And Jim's very good, and he believes in giving credit to people who did the actual research.
Yeah, I've noticed a couple of other people I occasionally watch are starting to get shamed into giving credit. Other people round up their clips and they just use them, and they
Yeah,
didn't
which
even.
I think's wrong. You should give credit. Use them by all means, but at least say where you got it from.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, I like his retouching of Cholito's face here as a clown. Again, I'm looking at the
Oh,
site.
he has some good ones of his images. He does. He has ones for various people.
And these are written articles. They're not videos, are they?
No, no, they're all written articles, but then the stuff that he's written the articles on, the videos he's based them on, are also listed on the site with the article there underneath it, and then there'll be suggested other viewing as well.
Oh yeah, there's there. Okay, I see Doc Detective. I think she calls herself on here now. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
she's pretty good too. I must admit,
Yeah.
I like the detective. The only
Yeah.
thing I find it weird is her animation keeps talking at me because she uses that animation thing. It's like, yeah, no, I can't watch this.
Yeah. When I
Especially not when you interact in the chat with it, and then you've got this cartoon talking back to you, and it's like, yeah, no, can't do it. It's really cool and everything, but just not for me.
yeah, that's a little bit beyond me. Uh, the technology. I mean, I haven't. I see people use it, and I'm going, yeah, I don't know. Um, but it's 3 o'clock. I really do need to go to bed. This is a lot of fun though, and I really appreciate, I appreciate you letting me, show you pictures,
Yeah,
and this conversation was even more
it was
interesting.
good. I enjoyed the pictures. It was nice seeing them out for a change. And I hope you find use for those documents, by the way.
Oh yes, for a moment there, I totally blanked. I started looking at them, and then I had to put them aside because work and
Yeah,
projects. But yes, um, I need to read
I
some more
can't
because
remember
what I was.
which ones you got, to be honest. At this point, I can't remember which
Yeah,
ones it was.
yeah, I'm blanking on the name. It was one of the guys that you've covered recently, and I was talking about him, and I was curious, and I started reading them, and the name is escaping me right now, but I was reading it and I was just kind of speechless because it's one of these where
Is it delete those
I
clips, or was
yes
it? Yeah,
yes
so
it was
Colin
Colin.
Scott Campbell. Yeah.
Yes, it was Colin, and I was I just started reading it, and I was kind of flabbergasted, frankly. I wouldn't go into business with this guy based on what little I was reading.
No,
Um,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot barge pole.
yeah, I mean, I sure the file the because this is chronological and the file was years ago, but and people can change, I suppose, but I, I I'm actually coming around to the vantage to the viewpoint that again you said Chili is he's clearly attracting a lot of shady characters, and don't. This is probably going to sound weird, but over the years, I've had cause to interact with criminals, with small time criminals, petty criminals. I mean,
Yeah.
that is they are literally professional petty thieves. That's what they
Yeah.
do. That's their job. And I was having a conversation with one of them right at the beginning of COVID, um, and it was fascinating because he was talking to me all about how he interacts with the police and the courts and the jail staff um, and every he just accepts the fact that he is going to get nicked. He's going to get busted every so often, and that when it happens, they have their job, he has his job, and he just kind of does what he needs to do to get through it as easily and as quickly as he can. And so, to my mind, this guy and the people like him, okay, they're good. Good in the sense that they are competent petty
Yeah.
thieves, petty con artists, and petty criminals. The people that raise a stink and make a big scene, no, they're bad at what they're doing. And
Yeah,
Chili,
because your charges just became 10 times worse.
yeah, yeah, and Chili, with the way he's approaching things, encouraging people to approach things. If he's trying to be I guess he's not trying to be a petty criminal because I don't know that he's something else that a lot of that again, this is my experience. Some of these small time criminals, they're not stupid people.
No.
I don't understand why, because they work a lot harder at being criminals than they would need to do if they would just go and get a real job. But I don't understand the mindset, so I can't judge them that well. But the people that he is working with are petty criminals, and they're bad at it, like Dollarhide.
Yeah.
My God, man, if you had just taken the ticket and then gone to traffic court or wherever you had to go to get it reduced or even dismissed, you would have been on your way. And
Yeah, but they'll never do that because that means accepting that someone has a right to give them a ticket.
yeah, I guess maybe that's what it is. It's just the arrogance. They want an illusion of total control of their environment. I've been trying to understand it. I've been wasting way too much brain power and time.
But the worst thing is, he's not the worst of them.
Well, no, we got Glenn Serio. He's far worse.
Oh, no. Oh, I mean, of the ones Chili's promoting.
Oh.
You know the guy who we're just waiting to finish getting everything together. But you know the guy who's been interfering with the police cameras for the speed traps, and then he got arrested, Alan Hubbs, or Alan H, as Chili calls him. And he claims he got arrested 10 days after he'd had this interaction with the police because he was messing with their speed cameras.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, no, that's a guy who can't. With Dollarhide, you feel slightly kind of, you want to count your fingers after you shake hands with him. With this guy, you want to go bath in Dettol after you've been within 20 feet of him with the shit he's done.
Oh my, okay.
Part of what's taken us so long is we're having to actually consult with legal advice on how much of this can we actually say on YouTube before we get in trouble because of the types of crimes he's committed.
And he's in trouble with YouTube, or in trouble with he's gonna.
No, we're worried about us getting in trouble with YouTube if we use the wrong language. So we're having to get legal advice to make sure we use the right language according to their terms of service so that we don't get in trouble.
Oh my.
Yeah. It's those kind of crimes.
Uh,
But he will have them up there and grift on their behalf. It's like that Dolarhyde. He doesn't have any legal counsel for his lawsuit he's doing. The money he's trying to get for legal counsel is to pay for his lawyer so that he can get away with domestic violence in front of a minor. That's what the money has been used for. But they all make it sound as if he's after money to help with his lawsuit against the police. No, it's to keep his ass out of jail for beating the crap out of his wife in front of his then 1-year-old daughter.
oh,
If they know that and they give him money, that's up to them. I don't care. But they need to know that before giving him money, because otherwise that's not fair on the people they're conning the money out of.
well, that's another thing that, at least to my mind, watching that latest interaction, that with the I'm talking about the incident with the deer watching.
Yeah,
The fact that my interpretation, the fact that they would behave that way in front of a small child and freak out the small child to the degree that they were with their behavior, they've got to be awful parents. I just,
yeah.
once again, you resolve a situation, get your kid out of there, and then you go back to court.
I
That's
can sort of understand the wife because he's beaten her several times. There's court records showing it. He's even pled guilty on one of them. He's waiting a mental health assessment before they sentence. But I can sort of understand her reaction because, of course, if she doesn't do that reaction, she knows what's going to happen when he comes home.
yeah, yeah.
She knows who the punching bag is.
Yeah,
As
actually,
sad as it is to say, that's the reality they live in.
that puts a little, a slightly different spin on it. Yeah, that's true.
For
Um,
her, it puts a slightly different spin. I get why she is the way she is because she has to be, otherwise, he's going to beat the crap out of her. Because you can see how the way he reacts with the police, he's not going to be told he's wrong. He's not going to be told anything because she does in the very beginning a couple of times try and get him to shut up.
yeah, yeah. When it starts, and she tells him, be quiet.
Yeah.
I'm going, all right. There's a finally a smart person in a situation like this. But then it starts unfolding, and yeah, actually, you're probably right. I mean, I found myself just getting so irritated at their behavior in front of the child, and plus this domestic violence thing until you guys were covering it, that was just not part of the equation because
They don't tell you that.
they leave out the important details.
But
The con-
what made his so difficult was we cut about half of his stuff, criminal record, out. Things that were either dismissed or they were just so minor, minor traffic stuff and all this. Even with doing that, it was 51 pages long.
yeah, when you cited that number, okay, there's a lifelong scumbag
Yeah,
right there.
because for some reason, the state he lives in, Oklahoma, screwed up. And when we got his criminal file, it included his juvenile stuff, which I instantly went, oh, hell no, we're not. No, no, I don't care what he did as a juvenile. None of that is going in. So we dropped that straight off of, no, we're not doing it because I don't think it's fair. The rules say you're not supposed to have the juvenile records. Someone screwed up and we got them.
Yeah, oops.
But we're not going to, we have no intention of using any of that because it's not fair. They're a kid.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's sort of like I mentioned earlier as I was starting to read through Colin's stuff. Um, the the file was a long time ago, the
Yeah,
first file. And so maybe he's changed, but it sounds like he hasn't. And as I get back to reading it, actually tomorrow night probably is when I'll be getting back to it.
there's one 5-year gap where we're not sure what happened to it, but there are no new cases.
Oh,
There's a 5-year gap, and then it carries on year after year after year after year. It doesn't stop.
maybe he got lucky, or well, chances are he got lucky.
But there is a lot of either him suing insurance companies or insurance companies suing him. And I think it was either Hank or Shuggy, I can't remember which, was saying, I'm wondering, given how often he has incidents with his car, if he's doing an insurance scam. And I hadn't actually put the two together before, and it's like, oh, for God's sake, how did I not notice that? But the sheer volume of it, you just get overwhelmed by it.
Although I suppose if you look at his suits right around the time before the 5-year gap, maybe he was
Got a
successful.
nice payout.
Yeah, he didn't have to work. I'm gonna. All right. You know what? I was gonna probably do some chilly watching, but I think instead I'm gonna go back and read some more of those Colin files tomorrow at lunch.
Well, it'd be interesting to see your take on it.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I'd love to see another perspective on it.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah.
hey, we're all human. There may have been stuff I've missed. There may have been stuff where my interpretation isn't quite what it should be. I've got no problem admitting that and seeing what other people say. It doesn't bother me. It's like the only thing I tend to do is watch it and go, ah, crap, how did I miss that bit?
Yeah. I know that feeling. Okay.
Yeah.
I am gonna let you go because, as I said, I'll hate myself in the morning if I don't. Well, later this morning. It's
Catch you
evening
again.
over there, right? No, it's afternoon
No, it's 11:18.
in the morning.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm still trying to get my mind wrapped around which way the clocks go. But okay, thank you again. I really appreciate you hanging out. And Dave, you should come up and visit up here one night. We'd love to have you. Alrighty, I will see you next time, Dan.
See you next time.
Have a good one. And just answer your question there, Dave, or your statement. Yes, some people probably are just trying to follow Chili's grift. But I don't know if you're still there or not, but somebody is. Two somebodies are. Hello. And I'm going to call it a night. And thanks again for stopping in, Dave. And I will talk to you later as well. Good night or good morning, whatever.